And welcome back, everybody, to the channel. It's your host, Lupus X. Today, bring you guys some more battles on the NA server. We got some more Rule the Waves tourney. This is the semifinals between L4TAM, the Latin American team, versus Bart. I've been following this team almost like a documentary so far. They've made it very, very far so far. We're starting off at Epicenter. Now, if you guys have seen what we've seen to other teams where Bart will do this encirclement method around, kind of like a crescent formation. They'll leave the Punisher battleships sitting toward the back, more in the edge, and then have the Amalfis kind of swoop off to the edge, get the destroyers, pick them off from the islands here. I would like to see how L4TAM is actually going to counter this, or maybe find a direct method to maybe chewing down or preventing them from being able to push around the edges here. You can see the destroyers are currently going into the caps. The cap zones are currently moving in Bart's direction currently at the moment. They're starting to get the outermost cap so far there. The lightnings are moving in, so they're starting to see some more British destroyers coming in here. Be interesting to see exactly if we see any more of them coming out here, with the Cossack being another interesting pick maybe. Lo Yang has been pretty much the staple of the destroyer set here for Bart. A couple single fire torpedoes goes off. I'm not sure that's going to hit anything from this angle here. Nope, complete miss. Then you got a whole wide spread coming in right here. Destroyer should be able to avoid that. Not a problem there. Easy reverse. Easy reverse. They have looks like a Rich that took a lot of damage coming around the corner there. They do a really good job of focusing a ship that gets a little bit too far. And it looks like the Rich is going to have to take cover behind that rock just to get the auto aim and aim off of him. He did take a lot of damage. At least 60% of his health is gone right there. He could probably heal behind that rock, but the Bart team knows where he is, so he's kind of stuck there. And if they decide to really put the pressure there, he might not make it out there. There's a little bit of destroyer action going on here, so it looks like the destroyers are basically playing it for the inner cap here. This is mainly a gunboat world right here. Benson and the Lo Yangs versing each other out here to see who's going to take over the mid-cap zone. You see torpedoes on wide spread here. They're just trying to see if they can sit. Yep, there's a torpedo goes in, flooding damage. He just put it out there. I would like to see here, what are they going to do in this inner cap? It looks like the inner cap is starting to flip just a bit. They are still holding on with the one Lo Yang in the middle. He's actually backing up. Okay, so they got two again. So it's 2-on-2 still in the middle cap here. No one's moving anything just yet. There's no deaths. Bart still has the cap advantage just by a little bit here, 132 to 57. So it's not a huge difference in cap zones here. All it takes is a couple ships to start going down, and that could be the end of it there. So now you see the destroyers are basically swapping in and out. You can see there's a lot of crucial play going on here between the destroyers here. They have to realize, you notice that they're fading in, they're fading out, depending on what kind of health they have. A couple more single fire torpedoes. I'm not sure that's going to hit anything. I'll track it a little bit here. Might hit the Roma. No, actually it does not. See how angles can really confuse you? Yeah, that's one of those. Wow, really nice dodge there for the Roma. Not sure you really put too much effort in that one. But you see they took a lot. The Amalfi over there is just on critical condition. It looks like they've done a really good job of preventing them from being able to do a counter flank. And it looks like Bart basically may put him down a cruiser ship early. That may put him down a pretty good amount of firepower. Now, losing a cruiser is not as bad as losing a battleship, but yeah, they've lost. It's traded cruiser for cruiser so far. It is still with Bart in the lead so far, but it's actually closer now. L4TAM's only 30 points behind, so they don't need a whole lot to close the gap here. So it really depends on how the other ships can play the rest of their damage here. I'm not sure if the Lo Yang's going to go for it here. He might. I wouldn't suggest it, because I'm pretty sure he knows that Richelieu is waiting for him with HE if he pops around that corner. So he's playing that rock very well, not getting shot from either side there. It seems like they're trying to pull a little bit of an arm here. So most of their battleships are still sitting toward the middle of the cap, but they're trying to extend maybe an arm's distance here to see if they can possibly get a little bit going on this Richelieu to get him out the match. They can put him down another battleship. That puts him down a significant amount of firepower, and it looks like they're not going to let him leave. Arsenal is going to be in a little bit of trouble here. Those Romas, especially if they put the precise aim in or rapid there goes another set. Is it going to hit anything? Is it going to hit any? Yet it's going to hit the Amalfi. Good amount of damage gone, at least about 30% of health taken out of that from that. Ooh, what is that? Looks like L4TAM is losing 3 ships. It's 3 ships to 1 here. So we're starting to see a little bit of a gain here coming from their side here. They're using their Amalfis to back off. This is a good timing for that, because the last thing you want to do is just give them easy points, because L4TAM's trying to push the advantage here because they realize there's a lot of damaged ships there, and if they could push the envelope just the right way, they could possibly turn this match around, especially having both the inner caps in their possession there. Now, I'm not sure if the single fire method is working out here, so I wonder if he's actually got a target on this one. It looks like it might be the Rich, but the Rich has probably noticed it by now, so I doubt that's really going to be hitting anything. Yep. Skates right past all three ships. It did get them to draw back, but by now it's more advantageous for John Bart to draw back into cover because they have the cap advantage. So I was wondering why not the widespread on that instead. Lightning is still being held at bay back there, so they're doing their best to, yep, it's only a couple seconds left. They're going to hold it, hopefully just long enough for this to go through. Just enough. Will the... are they gonna count it? Are they gonna... Yeah, yep, they give it to John Bart, actually. So a little bit of a technical win there, but it's a win all the same. And you can see the damages there for the first game so far. Remember, guys, we're at best 2 out of 3, so we're going to the next series of the matches here. This time we're going to Friar's Lantern, which is a pretty... I would say it's a theme map for this. It is a Halloween event, so it's a pretty good theme map for what we got going on here. Nice dark toned map. 3 caps. You can see this is a very interesting map. A cap tends to be the biggest cap, with B and C sitting down below. You see a lot more of the battle itself, the stagnation battle between the battleships happening at A more than likely, and really, but you might see a little bit here and there between the B and C caps. I have yet to have seen like a full B to C push where teams don't split. I'm not sure that'd be advantageous for anybody at this point in time, but who knows? We may see a certain tactic like that in the near future. But based upon what I just saw up in the upper atmosphere there from my third-person view, that's not happening this match. Let's see here. So they got a set of 4 ships here. So L4TAM's coming in with 4 ships into A cap here. 1 cruiser, 1 battleship. And it looks like, I think, John Bart is responding the same. So it's going to be basically a battle of who can play whose mistakes the best. Now, it's going to be very interesting here. Now, this does create a lot of stagnant play depending on how they play this one out and who spots who first. But it could be really interesting to see who exactly is going to play off of whose mistakes. So, you know, in that regard, who's going to make the most mistakes first can be the deciding factor here. You can see the Richelieu's have now lined up into formation here. The Amalfi now backing off to the corners there. The Amalfis have found a really good methodology for this tournament where they've found a way to kind of sneak around the corners of a flank of a team and be able to use their range and their dispersion to basically put a lot of shells into battleships and unsuspecting destroyers. Destroyers are doing a good job of basically clearing the cap zone for the Richelieu's, basically just pushing them back, you know, and it's such an underrated tactic a lot of people don't realize sometimes, is that sometimes you don't have to honestly always hit the target. Just being able to push them out of the cap zone can sometimes give you just that breathing room you need to maybe push in a little bit further and get some things going with the cruisers there. Especially with the cruisers, because a lot of the cruisers we have here are very lightly armored, where if they're on their what's the word I'm looking for here, broadside, they're going to take a lot of citadel damage here. Let me see what we have going. So we got a lot of torpedoes heading on the distance there. Now, it's not enough to push the Roma out from John Bart's team, but just enough to let him know the destroyer's there. They're seeing the Richelieu kind of peeking around the corner of the rock there. It's actually perfect play for him. He's got a pretty good... He can shield himself from being shot at from over at A cap, while these guys are basically playing their warfare zone over here. And Lo Yang's taking a lot of damage, so it looks like they're trying their best to hold that A cap, but it looks like it's gone over to L4TAM's favor there. So now the L4TAM has basically the cap advantage so far. So it's interesting to see how they're going to play this one. They may notice, it looks like the way they're positioned, the Lo Yang and the Roma are noticing there's a mismatch going on down at the BC cap. And I wonder if they're going to capitalize on it, or they're going to just sit here at A cap and see what kind of happens. It looks like, yes, the Lo Yang is actually going to move off in the distance there and start making some power play moves with the cruiser, the Mainz. The Mainz came off the flank. So you guys remember earlier, the Mainz was all the way at the top right over by A cap. So now it's come down over to B and C to try and see if he can push a mismatch objective here. And if they can do this without L4TAM noticing, then now they've created a situation where Now, LATAM's going to be a couple ships down before they notice what's going on. You can see the Amalfi, I believe that's Frozen Roar in the distance there. He is putting a lot of shells in this Richelieu from the sides here. And with the Richelieu only being able to have front-facing turrets, it's going to be tough. He's got to basically decide who's going to take fire from here. Because now you've got the Lo Yang that's basically on his corner here. So now you've got fire from 3 directions. You got an Amalfi, you got a Lo Yang, and you got a battleship all firing in one direction. So they're basically closing the gap here. And like I said, if LATAM does not notice, they're going to lose their ships here and not be able to recover from this, because this is a lot of firepower that will go down right here, right now, if they're not careful. Cross torps are coming in. That's it. That's it for the Richelieu. So they've lost 2 ships so far, and we still see that Jean Bart still has all their ships. Now, not saying they don't have anything damaged, so there's a couple of damaged ships, as you can see. Destroyers have done a really good job of basically absorbing damage, but being able to make their mark on the battlefield. Now they've taken out 3 ships, so they've put up a significant advantage, especially with their Amalfi, and the other ships are damaged as well. So now all that's basically left is hopefully LATAM can maybe pull something off here. But all that's left for basically Jean Bart to do is basically make smart plays here. Don't lose any ships unnecessarily, because that can easily turn the match around. But just come in the right way at the right timing, and they can easily seal this deal right here. Yep, it's lightning's gone, so they've lost their eyes. So with the destroyers being gone, the Lo Yangs are at free reign right now, because there's nothing else left to spot them. And they do have 1 cruiser left. But the cruiser that it currently have does not have spotting capability. So the Amalfi is basically up to the Amalfi here to try and see, well, can he see these Lo Yangs? And since there's another high healthy Amalfi, the Amalfi from Jean Bart's team is probably going to engage in him one-on-one just to keep him occupied and let the destroyers, the Lo Yangs, have basically free reign on the rest of the battleships that are still left here. And you can see it's just the encirclement going on. Look at the mini-map right now. The encirclement is happening right now as we speak. And it will be interesting to see how well they play this one off. Are they going to get any kills? Will they take out the Richelieu? It's not going to be a 7-0, but are they going to be able to take this Richelieu to go with them? Are they going to take one for the road? Is it going to be a to-go dinner? Not after all. It looks like the game ends just before it goes off there, with Frozen Warrior being the MVP. Jean Bart takes the second game there. So that is an interesting one. That is an interesting one there for sure. Now, the last game we got going on here. Oh, I forgot this. So I said best 2 out of 3. Sorry, mismatch on that one. Best 3 out of 5 for the semifinals and the finals. Mismatching my rule sets here. So we're moving on to hopefully the last match here. So you see Jean Bart's up by 2. 0 for LATAM here. They've played good games so far. The mobility is what's gotten them so far here. I mean, both teams are highly mobile. Very good classes of ships. It's not necessarily the classes of ships they've chosen so far. It's mainly just the ability to perform at the cap zones where it's at. You notice the mismatch they were able to create from Jean Bart on the last team on Friar's Lantern really caused them to get that upset real quick right there versus playing that stagnation game. The stagnant game, of course, is up to chance. With them using that ability to flank, that put them in the higher probability of winning that match, and exactly what happened there. Now, this is a 4-cap map, so this is going to be really interesting, because 4-cap maps tend to be very interesting in terms of mobility, mainly because they offer this ability to also do a lot of crossfire shots and allow people to switch the map. So, for instance, if Jean Bart were to lose B, they could easily go after A and flip A over. And so they can continuously keep doing this cycle of going back and forth between the caps and still keep the cap zones pretty even. So this means you can get almost a stagnant warfare match on a 4-cap map on like this one if necessary. Or you can have a very mobile match where basically it's a cat and mouse game between the teams. And we might see a little bit of more destroyer action here because there's a lot more rocks to play with than there was on Friar's Lantern. But we'll see how the Lo Yangs play. They've been doing well so far of creating these situations where the battleships and the cruisers can really take advantage of either mistimings or miscues from the LATAM side. I want to see if the Benson and the Lightning are going to be able to do anything. Their Richelieu's lost a lot of health already starting off. We're already a couple minutes in. That Richelieu is already on low health. They may lose a battleship starting off, and this is not something you want this early in the match. If you lose a lot of firepower like that, that puts you off in a really disadvantageous position, losing a battleship that early in the match there, mainly because your field presence is weakened a whole lot. Not saying it's the end of the world, but that's a lot of significant firepower that you would be able to deal to other battleships and other cruisers that you're losing in that regard. So here in this, it looks like we got one of the ships here. We got Roma. Lo Yang's doing its best. to hold it off with smoke here. I'm trying to check the cap zones. Looks like L4TAM has done the cap. So they switched the cap. So now L4TAM has actually got the cap advantage. Now it's going to take them a little bit to recover with having the cap advantage because they've lost a single ship already. So they've got to put down another ship from John Bart's side in order to even this thing up and get this match looking in their direction. They definitely will need the win here in order to keep this series alive, because all John Bart needs is this win, and that's it. The series is finished. It looks like they've got another Richelieu that's taking a lot of damage here. I'm thinking he's recovering. It looks like his health bar is moving a bit. It's hard to see from my camera angle here if he's actually recovering or not. But you can see they've done a good job of trying to switch him. It looks like John Bart's doing everything in their power to put that Richelieu out of action. They do not want him leaving the battlefield and recovering and coming back later on. And so they're going to make sure, if they can, at least put him out of commission to the point where he either cannot come back or where he's dead. And they more than likely want him dead. You can see the shots are flying over. They're completely ignoring that Richelieu, and they've done a good job. Looks like a couple precise aims basically put him out of commission there. So they lost 2 battleships going into this match so far. It's not looking good on L4TAM's side. They are playing well in terms of getting the cap zones, but they've lost the cap advantage and another battleship as well. So it's going back into John Bart's positioning for the advantageous part of it. Now, I'm not saying the match, like I said, is not completely over just yet. It all depends on how each team plays the situation given at hand. But it looks like they're going to be losing a lot more health in the Richelieu. The Richelieu just does not have many allies to count on, so there's nobody to rotate with him. All the other battleships are gone. And, of course, another flip side of it, oh, wait. Is he going to be taking torps? He's going to be taking a lot of torps there. So now you see that John Bart and, flooding on the Richelieu there. Flooding. That's something you don't really see all the time there. Single fire torps have done their job and actually got some flooding on their battleships. There's a lot of congestion going on here. So now it's 5-5. Oh, so we got a couple ships going down here. It's getting close. You see ships marking off little by little here. It is 4-4. Cap zones are moving in John Bart's direction. It's still close, guys. It's still close. 580, 655, 656. It's just it's going up. Oh, and now John Bart has flipped all 4. Wow, it's happening quicker than I can actually catch it on camera. You just saw just a bunch of ships just going down. John Bart now up 4-2 here. It's a sealed deal here now, guys. As much as I want to try and keep it fair, it's a sealed deal here now. I would like to see if this lightning can maybe perform some more miracles here. Maybe he can get a couple more floodings. Maybe he can even it up and get it to 3. He might be able to take somebody with him. I don't know. He might be getting a to-go lunch. I don't know at this point. He's doing the smoke. He might drop the single fires. He drops them. But it looks like it's too late. 9 seconds left here. And looks like those torps are probably going to be off their mark. I'm going to try and zoom in for you guys so you guys can see. Nope, actually was hoping. I was not sure. I knew the torpedo was probably going to miss there, so I went ahead and just turned it around. Shindu takes the MVP. And, of course, with that, John Bart wins the semifinals and advances forward to the next one. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll see you guys next time.